When you work with this spread, you would work only with the Olympians and with the Protogonos. So on the back it would be the circles and the eggs. So you would separate them out and you would make two different piles. And so then your Zeus would be your main energy, or the main aspect you're dealing with in your life or in your personality. And then this Protogonos would give you the nuance as to how that's expressing. Is there too much? Is there too little? Is it in the dark? Is it in the light? So that already tells a big story about where you are. So I'm going to use the example of Zeus just because we've started with that. So Zeus, represents mastery. Zeus represents being, the master of your own life, the master of your own destiny. So the nuance reading would be just a very simple way to illustrate how we can put these together. So for example, if you draw chaos with Zeus, the keyword or the nuance for chaos is potentializing or emerging. So in this case, the reading would be that you are emerging into your mastery. This mastery is starting to show itself, your potential is starting to reveal itself. But it's still something quite new. It's still something that's opening up. If you were to draw Nyx, Erebos Nyx with Zeus, Nyx is the goddess of night. So that night aspect means that something's taking a rest, or something is not really in the light at the moment. So Nyx with Zeus would say that your Zeus aspect perhaps is being hidden, or you need to actually give it a rest for a while. You've got to give, trying to master things or take control of your destiny too much, give it a break. You need time to restore your energy. You need time to sit back a little bit. If we were to have a Gaia, for example, with Zeus, the keyword, the nuance for Gaia is solidifying or manifesting. That interaction of the two cards would say that you're really grounding in that Gaia energy, and that you're starting to see that in your day-to-day life. You're starting to see it in your business structures or in your financial structures. You're starting to see how that Zeus mastery is being reflected in the world. So another aspect that's also interesting and important about the Protogonoi, the primal gods, is that they also represent a new beginning or a new foundation, very much like the aces in the tarot cards. So for example, if you just draw a Gaia card, that represents a new foundation on a physical level that's being created. If you get the Aether card, which is the beginning of light, it's like a new light or a new awareness or a new consciousness that's being manifested into your life. If you get Nyx or night, for example, that talks about a new night in your life. And that's not a negative thing. It's just doing the things that are necessary at night to rest, to restore, to step away from the world so that you can take stock of things or allow the healing to take place. So that nuance reading is a very nice, simple way of seeing how your Olympian energy is being manifested in the world. And what you could do, for example, you could draw one Olympian for, let's say, a week, and that will become your core card or your main card, and then you can sort of just randomly, maybe every day, or whatever feels right, draw one of the Protogonoi, and that would then tell you how you're relating to your Zeus energy on that particular day. So in this case, it would say you can take a bit of a rest. Today you've got to let things happen as opposed to trying to force things, if you draw that next card. And it's nice to be able to have that sort of feedback, to understand the ways in which perhaps that Olympian energy or the Zeus energy in this example is balanced or unbalanced, or what you need to do to correct it. And always when you draw cards for yourself, be that at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, or the beginning of a week for a week process or a month process, it's always important to, at the end of each day or at the end of that week, to spend some time reflecting on how you've seen that Zeus energy in your day. Maybe it was through the people that you met, or maybe it was how you felt, or maybe it was some of the opportunities that came in. For example, if you draw Hera as your main card, that would say, okay, this day or this week was very much about connections with people, family, friends, loved ones, or working on my relationship. And then if you get Athena, it might be a little bit more about the worldly things, career, money, getting stuff done in the world, making strategic decisions, for example. Otherwise, if you got Hermes, that would be more about maybe travel came up in your lives or different opportunities. Hermes is also the god of moving forward in one's work. Or otherwise, Hermes is kind of about a connection to the magic, the connection to the other world in some way. So there are many different facets to each of those gods and goddesses, and spending time with them is of course the way to understand them. So if you do, for example, a week process with one god or goddess that you may have chosen or that might come to you randomly, every day reread that information on the card, and also, and you might want to put this in your journal, jot down the ways in which that energy expressed itself in your life, because that will also give you feedback as to how that archetype's energy is affecting your life. When you're working with these cards, when you draw these cards, either randomly or with intention, you are invoking that archetype into your life. You are calling it in and saying, I want to see what you have to teach me, or I want to understand you better, or I want your energy to flow through my life. So the cards in themselves are not just about readings, they're also about self-reflection, they're also about creating the magic in our lives.